Wait,
I feel
we
like
need to say that we messed up with the last one.
I was gonna say, I was like, I feel like we had an addendum that we were gonna put at the beginning of this, but I don't remember what it was.
But it was about the stethoscope, but I can't remember the real word.
Signal scope. It was
okay. So, in our Outer Wilds episode, I said Naomi, but this was my, like, kind of dyslexic brain scrambling the letter ordering. It is Nomai, so I said it right about half the time.
Hey, that's okay. D's get degrees.
D's get degrees, baby. And then we called this signal scope the stethoscope. And the stethoscope is what the doctor uses to listen to your heart.
You know what? It's still about amplifying and finding sound.
Instrument.
It is a listening device.
Yes.
It's totally can be. And I have a feeling that signal scope was developed based on the stethoscope. I feel strongly about this.
Yeah. I feel like you're right.
Yeah. So it's not that bad.
Sure.
But I think it's good that we clarify that we're not totally useless.
No. I think like people have to know that there's going to be some degree of us forgetting the finer details from when we play something to when we talk about it.
It's true. Even if Maddie finishes it literally the same day.
Yes. Anyways.
We
have a podcast. Stick around to the end because I think we're going to talk a little bit about the Fallout TV show.
Yeah, we are. I'm excited.
Okay, great. All right. Let's get into it. And I'm Maddie. Welcome to Baddy Breakdowns, where we hang out, have fun, and play games all the way to the end. Today, we are going to talk about both Balatro and Open Roads. We'll give you the breakdown from its creation to its critical reception. Then we'll take you on a deep dive into the games as we share our own experiences and opinions while playing them. We'll close with if we recommend it, who we'd recommend it to, and last but not least, our personal rating for each of the games. With that, let's deal and drive.
I love that. That was good.
That's a good one. Thank you.
It has real Guy Fieri vibes.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it does.
Let's start with Balatro. I think that was the one that we told people we were going to play last week. So let's start there. Yeah. Because Open Roads is a surprise.
We added Open Roads because Balatro was pretty quick for us to play.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, we don't know if this will be like a whole episode of content to talk about. It's a really fun game and we'll talk about that. But we just were worried about filling up a full episode worth of content. So we added Open Roads, which is another like short game that just hit Game Pass. So yeah. Okay. I will do the game description for Balatro. The poker roguelike Balatro is a hypnotically satisfying deck builder where you play illegal poker hands, discover game-changing jokers, and trigger adrenaline-pumping outrageous combos. That's the Steam description.
The adrenaline pumping outrageous combos sounds like a GPT written string. I stand by this.
Kind of does. Kind of does.
It kind of does.
I do know that we'll get into how it was made. You're about to do that, but I do know that it was made by one person, and maybe he outsourced or they outsourced. My own sneaky patriarchy coming into my brain right there with assuming.
That's true.
That
You
it's
said
a he.
Rude.
But yeah, they whoever they are probably outsourced some of their stuff to GPT.
I wondered. So, I guess I'll jump into how it's made. It is very short for this one, but very funny.
Great.
I'm sorry. It's just so funny. And when I wrote this, I was like really sleepy and I've been so tired this week. So I am like super straightforward in all of my little
I
notes,
like it.
and I'm laughing at myself as what I wrote. Okay, so this game was made by solo developer Local Thunk. The genderless Local Thunk. We don't know. And they said they are both the artist and the developer. It was published by Playstat Games, so they did actually get partnered with a publisher. It seems good that they are partnered with a publisher because they have had some things that they need to be overcoming, actually, which is kind of interesting.
Oh.
So, because this is a poker game, the PEGI, I don't know if people actually say PEGI or not, but like
Peggy.
the ratings board, has this game rated as 18 plus because of gambling imagery, because it's an actual like poker game. And so when you're 18 plus with Peggy, you can't, be in certain countries, like certain things you just can't show up in, certain storefronts you can't show up in. And so the publisher has actually been fighting a battle with the Peggy board to try to say this is dumb, like just because kind of dumb. It has poker rules, you're not actually gambling anything. And it's wild to me that this has been an actual fight that they've had to have, because you have loot boxes and stuff that don't force someone, and that is actual real gambling, actual gambling.
Yep.
Yeah, versus this game that calls back to poker but has a bajillion different rules and has no actual real money involved, is 18 plus because of the strong gambling imagery, which is crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, but good thing he has a publisher on his side, because could you imagine an individual person? You'd just be like, okay, I guess, it's the end of it.
No.
Sad. So for the actual how it's made, a couple of sources that I found is I found an article on PC Gamer, and I also found a AMA on Reddit for r/games. I did not find this in either one of those articles, but instead this was in our group chat at work this week that this game was made in Godot, which is, I didn't realize.
Yeah.
But also a little fun, since I know that people who have been developing in Godot are always really excited.
It's the hot thing right now. It's so interesting. Wait, what's that phenomenon where it's you know about something and all of a sudden it's
it
everywhere?
Shows up all the time? Okay, so I do think that's valid here, but at the same time, Godot has been it's very new and it's been ramping up a lot, and there are not a lot of video games that use Godot yet that I would say were successes, strong, popular, well-known successes.
Really?
And so because it's so new, it's just so new. It takes time to develop games, right? And so their latest Godot 4 finally included some capability that people had been waiting a long time for 3D and other stuff like that. And so I think a lot of people after the Unity debacle actually started to migrate over there, but it's probably still going to be a couple years before we see Godot really take off with popular games. Yeah. Okay, so a couple of the inspirations that Local Thunk had for this game crack me up for a couple of reasons.
Okay.
So his main inspiration is called Luck Be a Landlord. Oh, right. You're right. We said he, he's on. Their main inspiration was Luck Be a Landlord.
Okay, I've heard about this, but I haven't played it.
It's a slot machine roguelike. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. And so they were inspired primarily by the slot machine roguelike. He has not played poker or deck builders. In an article, they said explicitly that they don't really like to play poker. They haven't played a lot of poker, and they didn't really play a lot of deck builders. They hadn't played Slay the Spire. They didn't play it until 18 months after development had already started. And it is just wild to me that somebody was like, I play this game and I'm just going to make this other game that has absolutely nothing to do with my interests or the things that I enjoy, and I'm just going to make it. And then it ends up being really fun. It's just wild. Absolutely wild to me.
That is wild.
And what he did, which was really what they did, which was really interesting, is because they picked this poker deck builder, genre mashup, they went cold turkey playing anything like it. because they
didn't want to get influenced, or
they didn't want to get influenced. They wanted to have and embrace their own ideas to make sure that the thing that they were building was the thing that, you know, came from them, and they wanted to be inspired by themselves and the idea they had to solve different problems instead of being strongly influenced. And in one of the in the article that I read, they actually mentioned that had they played Slay the Spire, they were like, there are a lot of really cool things in that game. I probably would have built off of those and included them, but they were like, I didn't play it. I wanted to wait, and so I didn't implement any of those things because it wasn't a part of my original plan. It wasn't what I had envisioned for the project.
Totally.
Now, what was really interesting on top of that was that in the PC Gamer article, they talked about how at the end of the day, their mechanics actually landed very, very, very similarly to most deck builders.
Yeah. I mean, because you need it's like it's a formula in a way.
Yeah, but they explicitly tried to avoid that and then ended up there anyway, which is really interesting just to think about, that's how that happened, but a little fun.
Well, because you get influenced by other games that have similar loops of, like, you have to have ways that people improve. Like, if I wasn't improving, or if there wasn't anything that was getting me to the next step, then, like, why would I? Like, if it was just purely luck without the jokers or without the other aspects of, like, how to spend your resources, then, like, it wouldn't be interesting.
Yeah, and I would guess that there was never any mention in here that they hadn't played roguelikes and roguelites. So my hunch is that most of it came from, like, those mechanics in there came from experience with that, because roguelites have pretty clear patterns for, like, upgrades and things, you know. Totally. And this definitely followed that a little bit. So it's not completely like a totally free test experiment, but it is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's also interesting you dedicate so much time to doing something where it wasn't like a thing that you normally do, which is kind of wild. And then the last thing that I had for this, because like I said, this one's a pretty short one, is the game has been played for well over 1,500 years so far on Steam, which is really fun.
That is a fun fact.
Yeah. So that's my fun fact, and then that can lead into critical reception.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so overwhelmingly positive on Steam. Bukus of reviews. Bukus. It has a 90 Metacritic score, which is really high.
That is
It has a Metacritic. It's like once you get 90 and above, I think you get some sort of stamp. That's like, because they had a stamp on their profile that was like, Metacritic must play. I was like, oh, okay.
Fancy.
And then a 8.6 user score. So a lot of the positives were around unique, simple but addictive, fresh take on the roguelike genre, something that they hadn't seen before. Really, honestly, like, addictive was a word used a lot.
Yeah.
Which I would agree with. And then the common negatives. So again, right, when I'm saying everything was overwhelmingly positive, I had to hunt for negatives. So keep that in mind. But one person was like, it's too addicting for me. I don't like it.
Fed myself in 3 days.
I can't recommend it because it's too addicting and too much like gambling. The next person was talking about how they didn't like it because there wasn't enough strategy, and it felt like the balance between luck and strategy, it went more towards luck than versus strategy. So that was actually a recurring one that came up, of people being like, I had a really good strategy that I had planned, but so much of it is luck. Like, what are the odds that I discard 5 times and never got a single heart to finish my play? You know what I mean? That kind of thing is more what they were complaining about, which I think is pretty valid criticism in some ways. And then again, kind of building off of that, is people saying that they just put down the game because it wasn't satisfying to lose because you had bad luck versus losing because you didn't have a good strategy.
You know, it makes sense when they say it out loud, But as somebody who loves cards and has played like a lot of cards, I won't say poker because I haven't played a lot of poker, but like my family grew up playing cards all the time. Cards is luck. Like a lot of the times,
Yeah.
so much luck is just inherently baked into the world of cards, which is partly why I like them a little bit, is because you can have all of this great strategy, but your strategy has to be constantly changing based on the thing that's in your hand. And if you like, you can still get screwed. I'm not saying you can't still get screwed because you totally can, but even playing this game, you know, adjusting real time your strategy, figuring out how to do things differently because of your hand is definitely like a different way that you can approach it, but it's not super easy in this game, and it makes it hard because of the way that the mechanics are built. I love that. We can talk about more of that. I really like that criticism. I'd love to talk about it.
Same.
But I totally see where it's coming from.
Exactly. I was like, oh wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And the last review I just thought was funny, which was, I can stop whenever I want. That was it. So, gotta have the funny Steam review in there.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
There it is. First impressions.
Yeah. I can start.
Yeah.
For me, I wrote down a couple of things. One which was right, one which was right, and then one which was not right, which is a little disappointing.
Okay.
First, I wrote down that it was giving me Pony Island vibes.
Interesting.
Which, have you played Pony Island?
No, but I've heard about it.
So the thing that this game did for me right away, and then didn't at all go in this direction, which I was like, I was not right, and I was a little disappointed that I wasn't right, but it was totally fine. Like, the game was still fun. But Pony Island is very like unsettling CRT kind of screen.
It's very low fidelity, right?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And something
it's the
feels
same people
like,
that did Inscription, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it feels like unsettling the whole time. Mm-hmm. The art style is the thing that gave me these vibes for Balatro.
Yeah, it's kind of trippy. I really like it. I want to talk more about it.
Yeah, it's definitely trippy, and it's definitely a little bit more low fidelity with like the fun, like things are a little bit like wild. I don't know how else to describe it, but like things are kind of like falling apart a little bit, you know, and going back together. Like, it's very cool.
They glitch.
But it was definitely
it's like
glitch. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. And I like that style, and that with the lead skeleton boy being the first kind of thing that you see is the skeleton head thing. I very much so thought this was going to be like a poker, roguelite, whatever game, but it was going to have some weird underlying like creepiness that was going to come out the more you played, is kind of what I thought was going to happen. That was not what happened. And I was a little disappointed because I thought that would be really fun.
Like
but the game itself was fun.
An Inscription type experience where you get to a certain point and then it like kind of crumbles and is something different.
Yes, that's kind of what I expected. Or like for it to, the little skeleton to slowly get like more and more deranged as things like went on and then weird stuff starts to happen. I just thought something like that would go. And I think that was my own bias because I had played Pony Island and because the art style looks so much like that. But that's where like my headspace was. The only other note that I had at the beginning, which you know me, so of course I had to write it. Like, I didn't want to read that much. There was so much text at the beginning, and I was like, "You're gonna make me learn all these rules." They're just trying to give you a good
tutorial.
It was a good tutorial. I will admit that the tutorial was pretty good.
It was good.
Yeah. I was just like, oh my god, there's so much that I've got to do in order to get into this game. And you needed the tutorial in order to do anything, so they did the right thing. I was just like, oh no.
Yeah.
What about you, Manny?
My first impressions were, one, I was in immediately. I've been playing poker with my family since I was a kid. So it's kind of something that is like baked into me as a person in a way of just like, you know, enjoying that activity. And I also just love deck building roguelikes. Slay the Spire is one of my favorite games of all time. I consistently go back to that. I crushed Monster Train, which was another similar type of game that that was on Game Pass for a bit, and I
Yeah.
think I put like 100+ hours into it. So I really like these types of games, and I was just kind of immediately in it, and it was very addicting. And like I said, I had actually started this and played more hours in Balatro before finishing Outer Wilds because it was so addicting. And the other thing that's really nice for me is that I can play it on my Mac in bed.
Oh.
Yeah. So
That
it
is
was one
nice.
of those that felt really accessible. And so
Yeah.
because of that, like my first impressions were just like, yeah, I'm in. This is fun. And this is really nice because it's available on all platforms, including Mac. And it runs really well on a laptop. Like it doesn't need.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought the art style was really fun and like funky and cool. Kind of
Yeah, I really liked it.
trippy vibes, like something is a little bit wrong, but you don't know what, and glitchy, which I just like. I thought it was creative.
Yeah, I did. I liked it a lot. It made it feel more unique and more interesting. And I think it goes along with the cards that we eventually find too, which are all a little bit weird, which is fun.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
let's dive in deeper. Do we want to give a quick overview of the setup?
Like the premise? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so the whole premise is you have a hand, which is you're drawing more cards than a poker hand, right? Typically in poker, you get cards on the board and you have 2 if you're playing Texas Hold'em or more if you're playing poker, but no more than 5. And you're essentially, the goal is you're trying to build a poker hand yourself. So there is not a table that you are matching your cards to. You are building the full 5-card hand out of the possible cards in your hand. Gosh, why is this hard to describe?
You're doing great.
Okay. And what makes things interesting is when you play a hand, just like in regular poker, there's hands that give you more points, right? So a flush is better, a straight flush is the best. You can do a pair, a double pair, etc. So where the intrigue comes in and how this like roguelike aspect comes in is you have multiple rounds, and each round has 3
like segments
where it steps up in the amount that you need of points that you need to make to move on to the next segment. And then at the end of that, like the third one is kind of against a boss, quote unquote, but it just means that you have kind of like things going against you depending on which boss it is. So as an example, a boss could be like, hearts don't count in this round. So every time you play a heart, it's not going to count towards your points. So you're really just trying to stack up the points, stack up enough that you can progress, and then enough to beat the boss. And then after you do a certain amount of rounds, I think it's 3 rounds or 4.
So
or maybe it changes.
So each like there's 3 little segments per round, and then you up the ante each time, and then I think you have to get 8 out of 8 antes in order to win that whole game.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And an ante is a round.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it like slowly increases. And what you can do is there are things that you can get through the game to decrease the ante. And so then you have more chances to get more special things.
Yeah.
Can we mention a little bit about like what the 3 rounds are? Because I have a couple of fun things that you probably just already know, but I was really excited to learn them.
Okay.
So the 3 little segments inside of each round / ante is the small blind, the big blind, and then the like boss, right?
I will also say, if you are a poker player like me, kind of ignore what you know a small blind and a big blind to be.
Well, so that's what I think is so fun, is that I learned what a blind was in poker, about like the fact that you are forced to play Even though normally, like, if you don't have it, you're just allowed to, like, put down your cards, be like, no, I'm gonna fold, whatever. And I didn't know that they had, like, a concept called blind and poker, because I never played like that. And so Chris was like, oh, it's fun that they use that terminology, because you're kind of, like, forced to play each of these rounds no matter what. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cute. And so I really, really liked that. And then the mechanic that I liked on top of each of these rounds, except for the boss, the 2, like, blind rounds, you could skip. And so you could choose to take, like, these different perks to skip that round, which was kind of like a fun concept for me, because I'm like, oh, like, you just don't have to play. You're just going to pass no matter what, and you get something good. And then I realized later that that's not always the best, because you also skip, like, the purchase rounds, which we haven't talked about. But I thought that was kind of a fun mechanic I wasn't expecting, where it's like you get to skip and just win. And by winning, you get all this stuff, but then it makes everything, like, after that harder a little bit.
And you're also, you have a potential, like, you're losing potential that you could have made more points in that game.
Yeah, but it is hard. What I noticed in this game is that it's pretty hard to make money unless you have bonuses that make your money increase, because most of the hands you get like $6. It's like not a lot. Yeah.
No. So at the end of each round, all of your points get totaled, and then you have points above what you were supposed to get, and all of that ends up in translating into money. And then comes the second piece of the roguelike, which is it sounds, I'm saying this out loud, it sounds so complicated to describe, but it's really truly not that complicated.
No, it's super simple.
So then you have a shopping aspect, and in the shopping aspect you can do a few different things. There's planet cards that help multiply the amount of points that you get from certain hands. So as an example, you have a planet card that is a ×2 on flushes. So when you play a flush, you get the amount of points that you would get from that ×2. There's another called tarot cards, which are based off of tarot cards, and those have various different perks that you can redeem. Like an example is you can make 3 of your cards the same suit. So like change these 3 cards to a club as an example. And so the benefit of doing something like that is, you know, you have a higher chance of getting things like flushes if you have, you know, the same suit. Then the next one, and I'm going to kind of lump these in, but the next kind of type is cards themselves. So you can add special, they're like spectral cards, or even just like add special bonuses to existing cards that do things like multiply the points, or, you know, add money to your, you know, total at the end, etc. So those are kind of the things that go into, that you can buy, that help you multiply the impact of the points. Now, the next thing, and really what everything is based off of, is a concept called jokers. Do you want to talk about jokers?
Sure. So the jokers, I thought, one, were just a really fun concept for the collectible person in me, because there are so many to collect. I think it's really fun. But the collectible, like, jokers that you have is you have about like 5 slots, I think, by default at the top of your screen. And so every game that you have the opportunity to pick up jokers and then place them in your actual, like, not hand, but on your screen. And so as you pick up these things, they stay permanently up there, at least most do. Some of them have skills that say, like, oh, you can lose me accidentally. But you get the chance to build this custom set of jokers at the top, and those are going to consistently stay with you every single round, every single game, until you choose to sell them or you choose to replace them, whatever. Or like, for some cards, you accidentally lose them. It's I feel like the main strategy for the whole game is really based on these joker cards and how you put them together, because you have some jokers that are, like, to tie it to some of the things that Maddie was saying, like, let's say earlier you got a card and it says change these 3 to clubs. Like, you could find a joker later that says all clubs are way higher value. And so what you could do is you start thinking about the jokers in your hand and what you're getting, and you start to like pull these pieces together, because the jokers themselves will start kind of defining your long-term strategy for the whole piece. Totally. And some of them are really simple like that. Like, hey, some are just worth more points. Some actually get like kind of fun and complicated and weird. Like one of my favorite cards is one that has like a random multiplier every single like hand that you play. And so sometimes you get 0 and sometimes you get like 32 and you're like, this is amazing.
I really love the like hiker dude, the backpacker.
That like increases the points worth every card every single time. If you get that one early, it's so good. I've only won one game so far, like one whole entire game, and I got him in my very first round, and I just left him there the whole time, and at the end even my 2s were like going hard. Like it was very good. But the jokers are definitely where I feel like you start to have to define your strategy based on the cards that you get. And those like come in a bunch of different kinds of styles. So they just have like your common, your rare kind of thing. But then you also have like foiled jokers, and foiled jokers give you extra bonuses, like an extra 50 points every time that it's there. And it's there every single round. So it's like every single round, no matter what, you get an extra 50 points, which is kind of crazy. But yeah. And then I think there's one other piece on the board, which is every single ante. There's like a voucher. And so you only get one voucher per like the 3 rounds. Like you only get one per boss you defeat. And those end up being, I don't know, I find them useful like 50% of the time. I don't know how you feel about them, but for me, they had things like you get an extra card in your hand all the time.
That's nice. Yeah.
That is nice. And then there was one that I almost never pick up. It's like cheaper rerolls for the cards in your shop and stuff like that. But those are ones that stay with you the whole game.
It depends on your style. Yeah, it depends on your style.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously some of them are like, not as good.
Yeah.
But
I think that's most of what you can purchase. I was trying to think of I think that's it. I think that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I think we don't need to like drain
what I think could be fun to talk about for this game, since there's not much to talk about except for mechanics, is Maddie, I want to know like your game winning strategy. Like what strategies did you try and fail? What ones worked really well?
That's a good idea. Yeah. But like as like a quick little wrap up, like I feel like what is really fun about this game is just that you are able to try all of these different silly things and see what works. And I think that there's the next piece that if you haven't been grabbed, maybe there is a collection piece with the cards where you're kind of filling out a book of different jokers that you've used before. So there's almost like a museum style, like filling up my book with jokers that kind of is a fun thing. So if that kind of itches your brain too.
I guess you kind of collect decks also, because the decks themselves have different like challenges. Like you start the whole game with a different color deck, and then you get like an extra thing in your hand.
Yeah, so that's like the overall progression is these like playing full games with different decks that have different perks and drawbacks,
like powers. Yeah. But it definitely scratches the collection for me. I really like it, and I wasn't anticipating that element in this game. It makes sense now that I've played it. Yeah. But when it first popped up and I'm like scrolling through all these cards, I'm like, there's so many question marks. It's definitely scratching the itch.
Yeah. Okay. Strategy wise, I pretty much gravitate towards seeing what jokers pop up first and really building a strategy based off that, which you kind of have to do. At this point, I think I'm on my 4th deck. So that means I've won 3 full games. So my strategy is really about what are the jokers that I'm getting early, and then basing something off of that, as well as how often I'm getting planet cards. So, because the planet cards that you get have a potential to really multiply your stuff when you get the same one over and over again. So, as an example, one that what's kind of fun is at the end of a game, if you beat it, you can go into an endless mode and just see how far you get.
Oh.
Have you tried to do that? No.
I didn't. And my one that I won, I saw it, but I was like, I don't think I'm ready for that. So I didn't do it, and I wasn't sure what it was.
Oh, it's just like playing it out where it like ups it every time, and just seeing how far you can get with your current strategy.
I see. That's fine.
So the one that I got that was the highest was when I was focusing on flushes. And so I got a ton of multipliers on flushes. I had a joker that had multiplied flushes, as well as the camper that multiplied the points. And that was kind of the biggest strategy that I've gotten, is like I usually focus on a hand and try to build everything towards that one hand. I don't know if that's the best thing, but that's typically what I do. And then from a hand perspective, I've either gone with full house, flush, or two pair. Those are like the three that I kind of focus on.
Interesting. I like that. I like that ours are like, there are definitely little overlaps, but mine's still slightly different, which Maddie's won more games than me, so pick your poison here. But the way that I approached it was, one, I floundered a lot at the beginning, figuring out how in the world I should be approaching this at all.
Well, if you don't have the intrinsic, like, poker knowledge, like, that feels like you're kind of starting from a spot of, like, if you don't, like, you might know in your head because of pop culture, like, oh, straights are, like, flushes are important, straights are good, like, so you might think, like, oh, one pair is better than, or is worse than a flush, but you don't know the full details.
Yeah. And so there was a little bit of my, like, I didn't, like, from the knowledge of poker, I didn't know, I knew, like, the rank order of the hands fairly well, but I didn't know the, like, rank order versus, like, the odds of getting those hands. You know what I mean? So it's like, I have almost entirely completely avoided, like, the straight flushes, because I'm just like, I have no idea how you even get those hands. And like, so there are definitely, like, question marks there as I just, like,
straight
learn.
Flushes are hard. Those are hard.
And so the strategy that ended up winning for me, and what I did a few more times after that, and has been, like, pretty successful, even, like, I just kind of wait out the jokers in some instances to get the ones that I want if I want to try it, but that does not work nearly as well. I would recommend develop different strategies and go with your jokers. But there was one round, and what I started to do was pay way more attention to the cards, the cards, like the being able to add or remove actual cards from your hands, and then have those cards be special cards. So literally just, like, making your eight of diamonds worth more. And I spent one round, and I had gotten really early on a joker that was something like, you know, clubs are really, really good. And then the next round, I had a thing in my hand that said, oh, well, you can turn 3 of these into club cards. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So what I started doing was every single time that there was a way to get more cards in my deck, I would always pick that, and then I would just make it more clubs. And I was like, if I just increase my odds here, it doesn't matter what hand I play, because I'm getting these special bonus club cards that are really, really good. And then I think a couple rounds into that, I got a joker card, and that joker card allowed you to multiply your multiplier based on how many additional cards over 52 you had in your hand. And so I had gotten up, based on all the cards that I added, I was multiplying my multiplier by, like, 3 every single time. And so that, in combination with my, like, hand, which was, like, 3/4 not really. It was so many clubs at that point.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
so many. And then I also like leveraged so many of the cards that were like turn one card into another card. And I'm like, little two of hearts, you're coming up here and you're king of clubs today, you know? And like I had done that.
Nice.
Anything that I could do to make it a club with a high point value, I was doing that. And then I was
That's a nice
playing
strategy.
mostly.
Yeah.
I was playing mostly flushes at that point because I had so many clubs, but it wasn't because I was going after that. Like I would just, and that was the only time I've ever gotten a straight flush.
That would be the full
maybe
strat.
mixing them together.
Yes,
mixing them together.
Yeah.
We are two halves of a whole, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the one that worked really well for me. I tried a couple other ones that were not as successful around, if I can remember right. Oh, I just wasn't committed. Like, and that's why I thought the comment earlier about like luck was interesting, is because I had a few hand rounds where I got some things that I felt like set me up pretty well, but then I just was not getting cards that would support it. And so I was like, well, do I want to pivot my strategy? Because the strategy is so narrow that I just can't make this work. But then when you pivot too late because you haven't committed, then it's too late. So I definitely like feel that sentiment, because I had tried, like, if you don't commit at the beginning, you end up just behind. And some of the bosses are really hard.
What if you got to a boss that invalidated club cards?
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's the other problem that comes into it, where it's like, you might get the boss that invalidates your clubs, and there goes your strategy.
Yeah, bye. The one that kept getting me was like the one that like doubled or tripled the point value you had to get, like in the middle of it, which is crazy. I fail on those 99% of the time. I'm just not prepared. The ones that I actually kind of weirdly like are the ones that reduce your thing down to like one hand. Like you get one hand to maximize your points, and that's actually like really fun. I don't know why.
You really got to think about it. You're like, all right, what's like, the perfect
how do I get
hand?
the most?
Yeah,
I really like that one.
Yeah, that one is good.
Yeah.
Are you a big discard user? Because I am.
Oh yeah, I discard all the time. I am not. As a poker player, Maddie, is it reasonable that I'm always discarding cards 2 through 7? Like anything that's a 2 through 7 is garbage.
Much.
Okay.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much correct. Yeah.
Great.
Sometimes you can win on a trip too, but it's not very often.
Yeah.
Like a triple 2.
It seemed like we got enough discards that it wasn't worth the risk of the space of that like little baby card taken up in my hand. Those ones were worth it.
No, I mean, I think it's really fun, and obviously, like, I've been falling asleep while playing it, because I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna play it before bed, and it's just so easy to pick up and just, like, play some rounds, which I really appreciate. And I'm gonna try some of I tried the strategy that you were talking about, where you try to make your hand all one suit, but I never got the cards, like, needed to be able to do that effectively. Yeah. Well, and you need the, like, tarot cards and the right special cards that allow you to do that. So that just never hasn't worked in my favor yet. But the other one that you can do that I've done before is trying to max out your money at the beginning, and this one's really nice. So this is why I said it depends on how you play when you're talking about the reroll, like the shop reroll, because there's times where I've really focused on getting as much money as possible at the beginning, because if you have over a certain amount, you get interest.
Yeah.
And that can stack pretty quickly.
Oh.
And then once you get enough money, like you get like into the 200s when you do that. Yeah. Like you can get, God. And then all at once you just like re-roll, buy a bunch of stuff, re-roll, buy a bunch of stuff. Re-roll, buy a bunch of stuff. So that's worked out for me before too.
Yeah. I could see that. I could see that being helpful, especially since if you manage to luck out and get the voucher, that's like make the chances of holographic like foil cards super high. Then if you just sit there and re-roll and get all the best jokers possible, then you're like set. Yeah. So I could see that.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah. So there's another strat, but it's really fun. I've been having a lot of fun. For something that's so simple, it's just like, I don't know. There's something about it. Yeah.
It's fun. I've liked it. I guess we've been on
game. Be rich right now.
Think of a different casino game and do it.
Yeah.
Blackjack, roulette.
Yeah.
Their choices are plenty.
There are choices. Yeah.
Yeah. Do we want to wrap this one up and move on to Open Roads?
Yeah.
Cool. So I'd recommend this one.
Yeah.
For sure. Definitely if you're the collecty person, but also if you're like a strategy person. Like, this is definitely a strategy game. If you like poker and cards just in general, I would say you'd really like this.
Yeah.
And other than that, I just thought it was really well done. It was, like you were saying, pretty addicting.
Yeah.
And I have it, it's one of those games that you can just kind of like feel like, hey, I'm in the mood for that. And you can pick up and play a couple rounds and then put down. And that's really nice. So
I agree. How many stars?
Ooh, right. Oh, I wrote this down. I think I would give it 4 out of 5, like Skelly Boys is what I'll say. I can't give it a 5 out of 5 because it wasn't like breathtaking for me, but it's a really good game and I've really enjoyed it. So definitely better than a 3. So 4 out of 5 for me.
Yeah. I also feel the same, so I'm not going to repeat it, but recommend. Go get it. It's $10. It's really not that much money. And I think I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5, but I kind of want it to cook. Like, I'm in like a let it cook moment because it could sneak up on me and be a 5 out of 5 eventually. Yeah. But as of right now, it's more of a 4 out of 5, only because, to your point, like, I'm trying to reserve my 5 out of 5s for games that just like blow me away. And this is close, but not quite that.
Yep.
But it could get there.
I'll check back in a few months.
Yeah. So I'm going to do Jokers. I'm going to just go classic.
Yeah, I like it. Cool.
4 out of 5 Jokers. Okay.
4 out of 5
Open
Jokers.
Roads.
Open Roads. Maddie with the description.
Okay. I'm going to feel so mean talking about this game.
I know, but I'm so excited because we usually play such good games.
Okay. Long lost family secrets, hints of a hidden fortune, and miles to go before they sleep. Tess Devine's relationship with her mom has never been easy, but they're about to set out together on a journey into the past that they'll never forget.
Would you not agree with me that that sounds really interesting? Like,
it does
that
sound really interesting.
Sounds really interesting. So you don't blame me for saying we should play this game.
I don't blame you. And it's Annapurna, and Annapurna.
It's Annapurna, right? Yeah.
We just played Outer Wilds, which was Annapurna publisher.
Yeah, and they did like 12 Minutes. They did Edith Finch. Like, Annapurna has like amazing things.
Really
and
good.
Even this studio, which we can talk about, my How It's Made section is spicy today.
Okay.
For this one, but like, I feel like it was a good pick, and I'm a little disappointed. I'm like more than a little disappointed. But.
No, we'll talk about it. I'm going to feel mean, but I can't hold back how I feel about this game. So,
we can direct our meanness towards one person who deserves it. How about that? We're about to get in. So,
great.
I could get into How It's Made. It's not actually, like, it's spicy, but it's not super long. So, the first thing I noticed is, the reason that I had picked this up is because I had seen Tacoma and had seen Gone Home, and both of those, like, I had seen them and I had heard good things about them, and so I knew this was in that similar style, and I thought that it would be really great. And when I started playing the game, and I was like, wow, this is not super great, I started looking at reviews a little bit early to see, like, what was I missing? Like, why is this way? Because the other ones were pretty, like people liked them. So, like, what's up? And somebody in some comment somewhere had mentioned that this took 7 years to make.
I saw that in the credits.
Yeah, and I was like, 7 years for what? And then, of course, in the credits, there's 500 bajillion people. And I was like, 7 years? And like, for you guys listening to the podcast, if you haven't played this game was what, like 2 hours, 2.5 hours?
Maybe.
Super short, like walking sim, very straightforward story, only like a couple character portraits. Like 7 years is kind of crazy. That's wild. So I started, it is. And so I started digging in and I'm like, why? And I'm like, maybe this is one of those situations where you pick it up the 7 years ago, put it down, and then pick it up again a year after. You know, it really only took like a year. So I was trying to figure out what happened? Well, it turns out that apparently like the whole team bailed in the middle of making this game. And then eventually, like, it was totally fully halted, and then it restarted eventually. And so there was a whole set of features that they had planned that are not in this game. So if you've played As Dusk Falls, which I have played a little bit of, it was going to have this whole set of like branching narrative with different storylines and different endings and all this kind of stuff that really spice it up.
Mm-hmm.
But it did not have any of that. It was a very straightforward linear story. And that was one of the big chunks was cut because this whole team just like up and quit. And so you might be asking me, Bridget, why did they quit, man?
Why did they
it's
quit?
Like you're an industry plant. Why did they quit?
I'm not an industry
plant.
I literally was just like, why did they quit?
And why were 10 of the 15 people that quit women? Why?
Oh, no.
Yes, it's because garbage humans exist in the gaming industry, and it 100% ruined this game, which is why I said we can direct all of our snarkiness towards that person and not to the individual creators of this game, you know, like your normal people who are drawing art and trying to do the best that they can in really ridiculous situations. So this game was made by Fulbright Studios, or at least it started off made by Fulbright Studios, and it had the founder of the studio, Steve Gaynor, had toxic behavior, in quotes, okay, is how it was described. So it wasn't like sexual harassment-esque, like touching weird stuff like that kind of happening. It was just a toxic environment is what it was portrayed as. And it was very heavily directed towards the women itself. So the thing that was really surprising about like the back history of this studio is that this studio had originally made Gone Home. And if you haven't played Gone Home, it's a coming of age story for a teenage lesbian. And it was like super popular, and it was in the early 2000s that this came out, early 2010s actually, early 2010s. And it was, there was even an article about this game that Polygon was like, hey, this defined like the gaming decade a little bit because we were in the middle of Gamergate. And then this game came out and people started exploring a lot more LGBTQ plus games after this. Yeah. And it was really impactful. And so as a result, you end up with this indie studio that started growing a lot. Like it was really small, started growing, and it grew and got a lot of women because the women were like, wow, this is an open studio that makes games like this. Like if I'm going to be a part of an indie studio, I want to do this. And so I pulled some quotes of some of the women that were working here from a Polygon article that I read. And these were quotes around working at Fulbright under Steve Gaynor. This is going to sound like a joke, but I'm completely serious. Working for him often felt like working for a high school mean girl. His go-to weapon was to laugh at people's opinions and embarrass them in front of other people. So that was one quote. And obviously, like, this is directed super towards women. 10 out of the 15 employees that left were women, and the people that came forward said that it was largely directed at women. A lot of this, like, toxic behavior.
Why make a game, whatever? That feels so fake. It just feels so fake. And then, like, the two protagonists for this story are women. And
so
then it just feels so inauthentic.
Yes, it's terrible. I absolutely hate it. And the, like, one of the things that, that leads to my second quote. It turns my stomach to think that he still gets to write these games about women's stories when this is how he treats them in real life with presumably no sign of stopping. I want women in the industry and this studio to feel valued. I want vulnerable young women who are new to the industry to be supported, not preyed upon. I want women to not have to fear retaliation from a powerful auteur figure for speaking up. I want women to feel safe here. And then the end of the quote is, more than anything, I just want him to stop. He shouldn't be allowed to keep getting away with this.
Totally.
So your perspective is exactly mimicking the perspective of the women employees here. And then the cherry on top of this cake.
Tell me he's fired.
I don't think he was fired, but he did get separated from the team making this game. So the game finished without him. So they did, like,
but he's still the head of Fulbright?
I think he's still we need to validate so I'm totally right, because the stuff that I read was hard to parse a little bit, because it's like he was separated, but he got to keep, since he founded Fulbright, he got to keep the name Fulbright, but it was separated out, and he wasn't working on Open Roads development anymore, and he wasn't like collaborating with them. So I don't know exactly what that means, if like Annapurna just like snatched him and said, okay, you're going to work on this solo, like underneath a different umbrella, or what. I'm not totally sure. But he still technically owns Fulbright. And then the last thing that I think is the cherry. Oh, go ahead.
This game got moved out of Fulbright, and they finished
just got moved out of Fulbright.
Out. Now Fulbright is where Steve Gaynor still is. But he's literally the only person that works there.
Yes, yes. Yes.
So like, it's
he's
not that he
Fulbright.
Moved. He's still Fulbright.
They moved. Studio. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And so, no, he wasn't fired, but at the same time, he wasn't, allowed to work
also,
on the game anymore.
I just gotta, I'm not trying to be mean about people's looks, but if you... I found this Wikipedia entry, and he's on it, and it's his picture, and he just looks like the most, Gamergate gross white guy.
He does. It's true.
Really, dude, you had, you really just played into exactly what you look like.
Yes.
Ugh.
And it hurts. I wonder if he's the brand of nice guy, since he's trying to tell these women and LGBTQ plus stories, right? I wonder if he thinks that he's just better than everybody else.
Okay. Ugh, we can't get into it. But sometimes I wonder, what's worse, the people who are just assholes and they know they're assholes and they just say it, right? They're like, yeah, I don't like women, versus these types of people that are like, oh yeah, I love women, and then secretly hate. I almost hate that more.
I hate it more because at least the other people you can actively block, ignore, whatever.
Exactly.
But people like this, it's now I have to feel weird and conflicty about it, right? Because I'm well, he made this game, and this game did do a lot, theoretically, to empower people to make more LGBTQ plus games. But at the same time, he is absolute and total scum. And I would rather him just be scum so that we could have good people working on this content, and we wouldn't have to have discussions like this where he thought he made this stuff, and so people thought it would be a safe space, and then they were tricked into thinking it was a safe space, and it was just absolutely terrible. And then I never got to put on my cherry, which is the HR, the hiring team, started being hesitant hiring women after all the women left. So they hired less women. And it's because they thought and were worried that by hiring more women, the women that they hired would be driven away from the gaming industry. Isn't that wild?
So
that was literally a line in this article.
Oh my God, that's so bad.
So anyway, that's why I say I think we can feel emboldened to give our honest feedback about this, and we can fully direct it towards this dude and not any of the individual unique human beings that I think probably had to go through so much stuff.
Promising premise.
Yes, it is. It really is. I was really excited for it. And after I sat down and looked through the bullet points of the story, I was wow, this could have been really good, but it was just not good.
Yeah.
It's just not good. So anyway, that's my how it's made. A little spicy today.
A little bit of interesting how it's made that I'll add is that the voice actors are really famous.
Oh, right. I totally forgot about that. I had a line in here and I skipped by it.
The voice actress for the daughter is Caitlin Dever, who's going to be playing Abby in Last of Us Season 2, which is very exciting. Yeah. And then the mom is Carrie Russell. Is that what you said?
Yes, Carrie Russell. Yeah, super famous.
Wild. Yeah. Okay,
Wild.
So anyways, I just thought that was interesting. When I saw the credits roll and I saw their names, I was like, oh my God.
Excuse me? What?
Incredible gets there. Okay. So mostly positive on Steam, a 67 Metacritic score, and a 6.6 user score. So pretty mixed, but trending positive, which I think is how anyway, we'll talk about it. A lot of the positives, good voice acting. God, I'd hope so.
Better been.
They better be. solid story thought. Like, the story was there.
The core, the essence of the story.
The core, yes, sorry. Yeah. That's the correct way to say that. The main characters in their relationship were interesting. So, like, these were all of the positives. But then the negatives that came after each of those, which was, like, good voice acting, good chemistry between the characters. The core of the story was interesting. However, it felt like they didn't execute it. It just felt lacking in the execution. Yeah. And people wanted more, like, more depth, essentially. Just, it felt surface level. It felt a little bit lacking in the promise that it had made. So.
Yeah.
And a few people were like, it feels unfinished. So, anyways, that is generally the vibes. And I would say I probably am very similar. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Do we want to do, like, high-level bullet points of the story? Or, like, how do we want to go about this? Because the gameplay is very straightforward, right? It's, like, point and click. Like, you 3D explore with... I guess the interesting bit is that it's got 2D drawn people, but the actual environment is 3D and you move around with it within 3D. But it's mostly just, like, point and click and then story.
Yeah. So... I would say maybe we do a high level, like, I can time it, like a 2-minute. Do you think you could do it in 2 minutes?
I think I could do a 2-minute story.
All right, do it.
Okay, I'm ready. So you are the daughter, Tess, and you are with your mom. Your grandmother, unfortunately, has just passed away. She's a super famous writer, and you had been living with your mom and grandma in her house. When she died, she had a lot of debt, and now you are about to lose the house. In between, like, after the funeral and then losing the house, you're cleaning everything up, and you find a note and in, like, an old suitcase in the attic that says, oh, it seems like maybe your grandma had been cheating with your grandpa. And so you, as the daughter, convince your mom to go on this little road trip to their summer home, which is actually a trailer, and then start investigating, like, this secret lover that your grandma had. So you go and you start investigating, and you learn that she actually did have somebody. They were writing letters back and forth, and you managed to find the address of this person in this, like, fishing boat kind of, like, town, but it's like a old houseboat in Canada. And they're up in Michigan at the time, so that's not as far away as it seems. And then you, as the daughter and mother, then you're like, okay, well, let's go find this person, because it seems like... Yeah, this seems like this might maybe be your real dad. Like, there was weird implications in there that this could actually be the father. Like, her real grandpa is this, like, stranger. And so this whole, like, underlying thing, too, the daughter has been, like, joking about finding buried treasure because she's super obsessed with, like, this old bank robber from her old hometown. So the way she's convincing her mom to go in a funny way is like, haha, maybe the treasure will be there. So they end up going and finding the houseboat that this guy had theoretically purchased for the grandmother and the two daughters to, like, live together in this houseboat. And the grandma never showed up. And so you find, as you go and explore the houseboat, an old letter. And it turns out that the old letter that you find in this boat is a confession letter. And the confession letter is that this old guy actually was the bank robber that you had been, like, excited to find his treasure for. And that his real name was the name of your real grandfather. So she didn't have a secret lover. Her actual, like, husband died. They faked his death. And he ran away to Canada, and then they decided not to go with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the story. I think I did pretty good at that.
You did really good. That was exactly 2 minutes.
Oh my God, I did so good.
Yeah, you did really good.
That's really it. Yeah. That was it.
That's it. And that sounds fun.
It sounds so cool. Like, when I said it like that, I was like, wow, twist. That's so cool. The fact that the guy, like, faked his own death and ran, like, it's so cool. Yeah. Execution was not there.
No. And so let's do quick first impressions. My first impression was actually, like, pretty fine. You're packing up your room. You're getting to know the characters. Some people were bothered by the mixed art, like the 3D space and the 2D character. That didn't bother me as much. Mm-hmm. Where it felt like it lacked was really just in the dialogue and, like, the actual text that was written just didn't connect with me, didn't feel like high quality writing to me.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you have basic graphics, I'm fine with that. But then you have to make up for it in other ways. And they didn't make up for it in other ways.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think I was thrown off a little bit at first. I knew what to expect because some of the previous games had done that same thing. But I was thrown off a bit, and I don't know if maybe it was the writing or maybe it was just the like lack of resourcing for some of this stuff because of what we learned. But the thing that really bothered me right at the beginning was it felt like the drawings, the 2D humans' faces and reactions and emotions didn't line up with the text that was being said.
Yeah.
And so I was actually, as we were playing right at the beginning, I was thinking like, oh, I wish they would have just like left out
I wish
that animation.
they didn't animate. Yes.
Yeah, like if they hadn't had done that, then I feel like I could have just like read it like a visual novel. Yep. And like maybe have 2 or 3, you know, like expressions you change to, but you don't need like they did actual kind of animation. And you can
still have voice acting with no animations. Totally. That's what Dream Daddy did, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Dream Daddy
and that was totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I, like, my first impression was, like, I kind of wish that they hadn't done those animations. For me, also, the movement, and maybe this was just, like, I don't know if it's on my ROG, and so things are weird and wonky, but I was having trouble, like, lining up to explore things, like, the hitboxes, the hitboxes were a little buggy for me.
It was buggy.
But, like, I wasn't totally put off in the beginning. I was still kind of interested, and I was interested to see where it went.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit, if you would want to, about the, like, pace of the storytelling and, like, the length of the story. I feel like that was probably the biggest letdown for me, is... like, when I explained it in 2 minutes, it felt like a good, complete story. But when you go through the actual game, it didn't feel like there was a ton of, like, content to it. No. Like, the primary storytelling is told through you picking up these objects. I don't want it to be longer,
though. That's the thing. No, I actually think it was the correct length.
I wrote that down, too. Yes. Yeah.
They just didn't do the right things in that length.
Yes. I agree with that.
I was bored.
Did you? I wrote, this is so dramatic and yet so boring.
Yes.
Is like what I wrote. Yes.
Oh no. What a terrible combo.
No, I kept trying to like pinpoint it, and I think it the writing, like just the pacing and the words that were being said, and like you had to pick up all these objects, and half the objects didn't do anything, and that threw off all the pacing because I was constantly picking up every single thing to see if it would give me more story, and half the time or more it didn't give me anything. And so it felt like constantly the pacing of the story was like and then when you did finally have story, it was so light and so quick. Like, it was not a lot. Like, of that hour and a half, 2 hours, I don't remember how long, that short period of time, I feel like there's probably like 20 minutes of story in there.
Yeah. I agree, because it was the right story beats, but for some reason the way they put it together just didn't match up. So like, you start, and the interesting thing was supposed to be like, and maybe it's because they took it away from you, like, you find the briefcase that has the letter that sets you on the quest.
Yeah.
But all before that, you're kind of lamenting about this house and losing this house.
Yeah.
And you're, reminiscing on the few objects that are there because they had an estate sale, which is like a really sad way to start it too, right?
So
which
sad.
Is totally fine. Like, you need the emotional, but it didn't make me feel like, oh, I'm about to go on this, like, quest. It was like, oh, I'm, like, in this, like, grief, like, mindset. I don't know how else to describe it. But then you go up to the attic, and you don't even, like, it's kind of dumb. Like, you don't even find it by clicking on something. It just, like, it just opens, like, when you hit a certain point, the door opens, and it's like, oh, a briefcase. Like, it could have been... It would have been more impactful if when you're clicking around, it's like, what's this? A briefcase. And then you read the letter, and it felt like they had too much things that distracted from the main quest.
Yeah.
Kind of. But it didn't add to the emotional reasons why you would want to be on that main quest. Like, they had this distracting storyline that was kind of cute because it gave background on the mom, but they could have connected it back in about, like, being a waitress at the diner.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, yes, that's cute, but, like, you're not connecting it back in.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they also had a potential storyline with the mom's sister where you're finding these really sad drawings that she made for herself about, like, having imaginary friends, and the mom's kind of a bitch about it. Like,
yeah, she is. I'm like, why do you hate her so bad? What did she do to you? And they never tell.
They never tell you. This is what I'm saying, is it just distracts from this, like, quest, but they go off on this tangent, but they don't connect it back in.
Yeah, yeah. And because they had set that pattern, they also had the quote unquote tangent of the girl being obsessed with this treasure. And I thought that was so stupid. I was like, this is weird. Like, what a weird thing to shoehorn here. And then of course it does end up being important with, like, the twist at the end. But because they had dropped,
because they don't actually find treasure, it's not satisfying.
In my head, like, if I'm pretending to be them for a second, I feel like they're like, we can't, like, how do we tie in the fact that there was a bank robbery forever ago and this guy had to flee? And they're like, well, how do we put that in the present day? Why in the world would we be talking about a robbery from the present day? And somebody is like, well, maybe she's, like, interested in, like, the outcome. Like, are there stuff that she can be, like, excited about? Like, oh, all the buried treasure, you know? Like, that feels like a very real conversation that happened because they couldn't figure out a better way for this to introduce the concept of there having been a bank robbery forever ago. Like, I feel like they could have done that way better, but that to me felt like their answer, is that they had to have this, like,
but then the other thing is, like, you need the treasure though. Like,
he never found it. Well, no, we know he spent it all on booze, on that houseboat and booze. He spent all the money on houseboat and booze.
I guess, but, like, how unsatisfying. And it just didn't
totally.
Like, and the other thing that was, like, sucked is that in a picture you find, like, a hole that had been covered, and then you find a shovel and you think, oh, I'm gonna go get that shovel and I'm gonna go whatever, but you can't interact with the shovel, and so it turns into nothing. And it's like, why did they have that in the picture? But to your point, maybe that was originally part of the game.
Yeah, I wonder if all of these dead storylines were real storylines.
Were part of the game. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they just left in pieces to fill out the time and then cut so that the only thing that you could do is the very main storyline. I do wonder.
Yeah. Because it just felt so unsatisfying to do these tangents and then not come back to it.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Or not connect it in a way that felt good.
And it made it so that I was, like, less connected to each of the stories. And I guess that I didn't in my speed 2 minutes mention the fact that her dad, because he was deadbeat, like, kind of tangential. Yeah, she had a deadbeat dad that, like, left her mom, and he ran off to Nevada, and the daughter is trying to figure out how to tell the mom she wants to go visit the deadbeat dad. And the deadbeat dad is literally, like, I guess this is poker themed week. He's literally a professional poker player now. And
who knows if he's any good?
I doubt it. It's been years and he still hasn't told the daughter what it is he does, because it makes him look like a total loser. Like,
because he is a total loser.
Yeah. And the whole time you feel just kind of, like, bad for the mom. And you're like, since you're the daughter, you're, like,
and
texting the dad.
Yeah. And the daughter's being sassy to the mom, like, why'd you leave dad? It's like, yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah.
Ugh. Yeah. No.
And the mom has this little speech that was like, yeah, so your dad wanted us to move to Nevada when my mom was dying because of Alzheimer's/dementia. So no, I didn't fucking do that. Like,
realize no one would fucking do that.
Because no one would do that. Why would he even suggest it?
And yeah, exactly. You'd have to be, like, such garbage to suggest that in the first place. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane.
And then the daughter's like, but I just miss him. Like, okay.
Yeah. Like, sorry. maybe like support your mother a little bit, but that's fine. And like on top of all of that, when you're like texting the dad, it's clear based on the dialogue that he's told you some stuff that probably isn't the most like flattering to your mom, based on like the way that you say stuff like, oh, it was totally mutual and blah 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 and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, this guy just wants to be the fun guy. He wants to be the fun
and
dad.
I hate
Look
that.
at me.
And that's such a, and again, it
annoying.
speaks to motherhood in general, where it's such a pattern,
It
right?
is.
Of moms taking on the weight of being the people who have to parent. But as a result, when you get older, people tend to be closer with their moms because their moms are the ones that put in that emotional weight into raising you.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
And I just think
almost
that
makes me... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go for it.
I was going to say that almost makes me more disappointed in this story because you don't get a lot of heroic moms at the center of these stories. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just kind of, and it just sucks because then they could have done some really cool commentary about like the daughter finding out that her dad's like not who she thought he was. But they didn't quite do that.
Mm-mm. No, because they like buttoned it up right at the end and they were just like, oh, also I got these tickets, Mom, I'm throwing it in your face. And then later she's like, you should just go visit your dad, get his side of the story. And I'm like, what's his side of the story? Like garbage? More garbage? Like, yeah. Ugh. So that was like the happy ending, was that the mom was going to be a decent human being and not make you hate your own father, which, you know, like good for her, but also...
Which she'd been trying to do anyways. Like she'd been putting in the work anyways to like not talk bad about him. But then it just made her resent her more because she thought that the mom was at fault.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Whatever.
Sad.
Okay, I'm done talking about this game.
There's not really more to talk about.
There isn't more to talk about.
Get us your final thoughts and your rating, Maddie.
Okay. I can't say I could recommend buying it. If you have an hour and a half to spare and you have Game Pass, sure, give it a shot. I just don't know if I could recommend it in any other scenario. That sounds so mean.
If you have so much money that an hour and a half of your time is worth absolutely nothing, then you should just
give it a shot.
Oh,
and
God.
I would give it a 2 out of 5.
That's really generous, Maddie.
I give it a 2 out of 5 roller skates because the mom roller skated. I did the waitress roller skating thing.
That's cute. Okay, I would not recommend this game. If you wanna, like, if you are the kind of person that has to have a thing to be doing constantly and your options are between like cleaning your kitchen and playing this game, then like maybe play this game, but also it's probably just better to clean your kitchen.
Damn.
I say as the person who should have been cleaning their kitchen instead of playing this game.
Yeah.
I just like, I get it. It's free. Technically it cost me nothing to play. I didn't get anything out of it, so I wouldn't have played it. I don't know that I would consider this the shining star to compare the studio's other games, but I also don't know if you want to contribute to the success of this dude. So, asterisks on that. But I wouldn't say that this necessarily defines like As Dusk Falls, which I think was also on Game Pass and you can play for free and is theoretically supposed to be better. I would give this a 1 out of 5.
Is this our first 1 out of 5?
Maybe. It's a 1 out of 5 for me. It's a 1 out of 5.
I think it's our first 1 out of 5.
1 out of 5 typewriters is what we're going to go with. I don't feel bad about it. Yeah. And I if you're one of the creative human beings who worked on this game as an individual, I just want you to know that this is not a reflection on you as a person. And I feel like you guys probably went through a really crappy situation. I'm really sorry about that. And I really look forward to seeing what you create next. And I'm really sorry about it. But also a 1 out of 5.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yes. All right.
Sad. But now we can talk about the Fallout TV show.
Yeah, let's do a quick little off on topic.
How about you summarize us, Maddie? Because it's been like a little bit of time since I watched the first few episodes.
Okay,
If you
so
wanna, like...
I mean, it's also I binged the whole thing in 2 days. So
you fit okay.
yeah, but
Okay.
I guess I just wanted to talk a little bit about it on the show, which maybe we can do a special episode at some point that dives in deeper, because we did the same thing with the Last of Us TV show. Although I'm a little bit of a poser here. I have not played the Fallout games.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I have only played Fallout Shelter, which is the cute mobile game where you can build your own shelter, but your own like vault. But anyways, I think that the show is really fun and strikes a good balance between the seriousness of an apocalyptic wasteland, but also being really like wild and funny and goofy that is in that like Fallout humor style.
Yeah.
And I think that that is a hard thing to do, and they pulled it off. And so that's why I just want to give credit, because it is such a hard thing to pull off, but they do pull it off. Like the vault people are supposed to be very naive, and they are in a way that feels so authentic, but like and funny. It didn't feel forced.
I agree.
How she talked about things, where she
felt
was
genuine.
Like, it felt
she
very
felt
genuine.
Actually brainwashed. Like, she felt very genuine. Yeah.
And I thought the character, like the casting, was just perfect. Perfect.
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Especially the main two, like both the ghoul casting.
Oh, yes.
The cowboy, the ghoul casting, and then her casting. Like, those were just stellar.
Yeah. So I have played the games. I have played them in the same way that I played Skyrim, which is I put many hours into like the first 40% of the game, and I'm really bad at finishing them out. And so I have played 3 and New Vegas. I played 76, but then it crashed on me after 4 hours and deleted everything, so I didn't pick that back up. And then I had been saving 4 until I finished 3 in New Vegas, so I actually have not played 4. And I heard that 4 wasn't as good, so I was like, I just want to finish out the other ones before I start another one, right? And so I have played, but I wouldn't call myself like the lore expert. I knew like the core pieces of it, like that. Wait, I don't know if I should say it. Did they get into it by the time of where we are in these episodes? Maybe that'll be a spoiler for you, Maddie.
What?
Like the purposes of the vaults.
Yeah.
Do you know
they talked about it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I couldn't remember. Okay. So like I knew that the vaults themselves were like experiment.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Were like experiments. Like I knew that. And I knew of some of the different experiments that they did, but like I said, I haven't played like all of the games in full and completion. And so I spent a little bit of time after the show looking into all of the different lore. And that was really, really fun. So like, if anything, I appreciate that the show was engaging enough and had like tied enough of the lore in such like a nice way that it made me more interested to play more. And I actually started playing Fallout 3 again, like from like the 50th time from the beginning. Because I was like, I want to do this again. And one thing I'll mention as somebody who has played, because I thought it was really fun, is that in Fallout 3, your main goal as, like the person, because you play yourself, right? It's RPG. Your main goal is your dad has disappeared and you want to go like find him. So you have left the vault and you're going to go find your dad. And it's a totally different storyline than the storyline that they have in the show. So it's not the same.
A similar setup.
Yeah, but it was like the same vibe of like, and because, I'm a woman, so I played as a woman, so seeing the main character from the vault be the woman who goes out to go and like find her dad was just kind of fun. Like it was a fun little like tie-in callback thing that without being like, I'm going to try and tell the same story but worse. It was like, we're going to do our own thing a little bit, but we're going to do it in a way that like points you back and be like, haha, see, we do know. And I really liked that. I thought that was really fun.
Yeah, that is really fun. Oh, yeah. It's a good
but
show.
I think they're doing a really good job. The guy from Lost and Person of Interest was a surprise cast member for me for a very short while, and I really love him, so he was fun to see. He played Ben Linus. I'm pretty sure. Was that his name in Lost? Yeah, it is. The guy who played Ben Linus in Lost.
Yeah, but I didn't watch Lost.
Michael Emerson. So. You never watched Lost?
Uh-uh.
Oh my God, Maddie. It was a cultural phenomenon, Maddie.
I know.
We need a second TV show in which we
he
both
was good.
educate each other.
He was good.
Yeah. He's always really good. If you've not seen Person of Interest either, it's like AI centric and really, really fun. It's like a serial kind of like serial crime, but not really. He's like a spy.
He was in the first Saw movie.
Oh, I forgot that. Wild. But anyway, I love him. Every time he shows up on the screen, he's amazing. And so when he popped up on screen,
and he's married to someone who was in True Blood.
What?
His wife was an actress in True Blood. Click on his wife, Carrie Preston.
Oh, I love her too. She's
good. I did watch True Blood. I was addicted to that TV show.
True Blood is really good.
All the way to the end. Yeah.
I have not watched the last episode of True Blood. Chris won't let me.
Why? Oh, because it's not good.
He is the kind of person who gets sad when things end and it's over and there's nothing left. Oh. And so he has not watched the last episode, and we have to watch it together.
So, I will tell you, I have a spin on this because I feel a kinship with Chris here, but mine is a little bit of a different take where I also get sad when things end, and so I leave the last episode for a quote-unquote rainy day, and then I forget to revisit them on rainy days.
Interesting. Okay.
And DK always makes fun of me because he's like, stop leaving things to be for a rainy day.
I am DK.
You're never going to come back to it.
Yes.
So, like, I haven't finished Cowboy Bebop, which is a very famous anime, and I loved it. I was obsessed with it, and I was like, okay, I'm going to save the last episode for a rainy day. I still have not watched the very last episode of The Good Place.
It's so good! It's so good! What are you doing? Oh my god, Maddie! Oh no! Oh no!
So I'm working on it. I don't do that anymore. Because I realized that at this point I have to go and rewatch the whole thing.
You do, but a rewatch of The Good Place is always worth it. It's so good every time.
A little
detour. I got sidetracked. Detour, making our way back. What's his face? I've already forgot his name because I'm terrible. Michael Emerson. Was a surprise
he is good.
Cast member, and he was great as always. Did really, really good. Is this, so they have 8 episodes out now. Is it done? Is this like
first season done?
Okay. I was kind of hoping it was going to be in 2 waves and then I'd get more.
So they have already greenlit a second season.
Okay, that's good. That's good at least.
And it ends in a way that's like very obviously they're going to do a second season. They set up the second season.
Sometimes they set it up and then let you down, but it's good to know they've already signed it up, so that's good.
They have set it up and they have confirmed a second season.
That's good.
The showrunners have said that they have 4 seasons in mind. So they're hoping for 4 seasons.
4 seasons is a pretty safe bet.
That feels
I feel like
good.
it does pretty well. Yeah. Even Westworld made it to 4 seasons. So.
Ugh, R.I.P.
I know. So.
That first season was incredible.
Gem. Probably the best TV season I've seen in my whole life.
It's so good.
So good.
Oof. Anyways, all right. Go watch it, y'all. Maybe we'll deep dive on it more, but...
Mm-hmm. If you want us to, let us know.
Yeah, if you want us to, let us know. How about that?
Yeah. And then I can rewatch it with a little notepad.
Same. I just binged it. So.
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe and rate it. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Baddy Breakdowns and visit our website, baddybreakdowns.com, made by Bridget. The podcast art was done by the wonderful Tanisha Vertikar, and the podcast was edited by me, Maddie, and I also made the music theme song. Join us next time to hear us to Baddy's Breakdown Disco Elysium, another one from our backlog.
I've been wanting to play this so long, I'm willing to play it over my wedding.
You signed up for this. I said I'll do whatever you want.
I know. This has been one. I've already installed it. It's waiting there. It's waiting for me to press play.
Oh my god, I need to finish it first. What if
I believe in you. If there's any time, now's the time. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to play it when I get tired of cleaning my house this weekend. And then I'm not going to be able to play it for like a whole week and a half, Maddie. And so then I'm only going to have like a week left.
That's when I can sneak up and finish it. Yeah.
I think if you can finish it by like next Tuesday, then you have 100% chance of beating me. At that point, the curve starts to go down. But you've got a really good chance.
Okay. We'll see. All right. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Bye.
Bye.